You know, the other day, protesters went into a church in Minneapolis, a house of God. And before I start this video, I don't care if you're an atheist, agnostic, if you're a Christian, I don't care. You live your life the way that you want because we all have free will. If Jesus was alive today, he would have protested that church. Jesus would have been flipping tables over and flipping over pews. That's the Jesus that I believe in. He would have walked up to that pastor and asked him, how dare you treat people this way? How dare you treat the least of us like this? Why would you not stand up for the poor? When I was on this earth, I gave people food. I gave them hope. I cured the sick. I literally sacrificed myself for the better good of society. And then Jesus would ask them, in addition to that, since you're so worried about undocumented immigrants, how is it that if you claim to follow me, why are you telling people in your church, in your synagogue, in your community, that I sent a man that you support who has sexually assaulted 26 women, who is an adjudicated rapist, who is a pedophile, who is a felon, who cheats on his wives, who has tax fraud, who caused an insurrection that led to the death of officers? How could you, in my name, support a person that calls women fat and piggy? But somehow, protesters coming into your church, standing up for my people, you want them to go to jail and you want to charge Don Lemon with the Ku Klux Klan Act. That is what faith is. And there was a little girl up front that people on the white wing want to share. Oh, she's horrified. That's a shame. But you know what? Renee Good's son will never see her mom again. Officer Sitnick's family will never see him again. 4 officers took their lives after January 6th. We'll never see their families again. People are being zip-tied, beaten, pepper sprayed, eyes are lost. They will never recover from those. The women that Trump sexually abused, they will never get over those emotional scars. The little girls at Epstein Island he's protecting, the protector of predators, they have emotional scars that will live with them for the rest of their lives. So forgive me if I don't give a damn about a little girl who saw some things. Maybe those people in the churches say, yes, this pastor voted for a man who assaults women. Why don't you have that conversation with your daughter? But you're not, because you're shielding her from there. That's the kind of person that I want to be. I want to be the Jesus that flips over pews and tables, who has righteous anger. And yes, you should judge. By your fruits shall you be judged. By the same measure you judged, lest you be judged. Judge thy neighbors fairly. Remove the log from your eye before you see the speck in your brother's. And that's what you people do, you Pharisees, is you spend your whole miserable life seeing the speck in everybody else's eye while justifying hypocrisy, misogyny, sexism, racism, rape, pedophilia. But hey, God said this is bad. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot say, I hate the Democrats and I love Jesus. You cannot go to church on Sunday with your F Joe Biden and Joe in the Hole bumper stickers and say, I love Jesus. You cannot say, love thy neighbor as thyself, while being upset about people who are actually loving their goddamn neighbors and giving a crap about people and protesting the cruelty that a person that claims to be a Christian is demonizing people. These people share the same traits as Satan. They both believe in God, they both weaponize the Bible, and neither one of them believe in him. According to MAGA, by their definition, by their fruits, Satan is a Christian. Faith without works is dead. You cannot live in both light and darkness. You cannot serve 2 masters. You cannot call yourself a Christian and support Donald Trump. And I would argue that God sent Donald Trump here to expose the moral rot within his church. And right now you're seeing the churches that are actually standing up for what's right. And you have other churches like this one that's standing up for what's white. That's where we are. That is the divide. And you saw that with the racist podcaster, Charlie Kirk. You saw people leaving their church because they wouldn't say the name of a racist podcaster. These same Christians went to Starbucks and cried like their mom just died because they wouldn't put the name of a racist podcaster. But they wouldn't stand up for any of the people that he demonized. This is who they are. They are modern day Pharisees. They are the same religious ideology that justified murdering Jesus in the name of God because he refused to bend a knee to their religious ideology. And that's what these people are. They are religious Pharisees. Nowhere does the Bible say to be Christian or Pentecostal or Catholic or to have rosary beads. He says to have the faith of a child. If you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. Faith without works is dead, and that's what it is. There is no faith. It is religion. Religion is something you do. Religion says abortion and gay people are the worst sins, but if you molest little girls, if you rape women, if you commit felonies, if you cause insurrections, hey, that's okay, but these are the worst sins. Says nowhere in the Bible. The book of James says that if you break one commandment, you're guilty of breaking all of them. A sin is a sin as a sin. And what people like the pastor of this church have done is they have chosen which sins are worse. Abortion and being gay. Oh yeah, we can't forget about transgenders. Right? And these are the same pro-life Christians that watch over 40,000 people get murdered every year. Thoughts and prayers. Women losing their lives in Texas from sepsis because Roe versus Wade. Thoughts and prayers. 14 million kids go to school hungry. Thoughts and prayers. 2/3 live paycheck to paycheck. Thoughts and prayers. That's all they have because they're not pro-life. They're religious zealots. It has to be people like me that have these conversations. It has to. They are not Christians, people. Anybody can quote a scripture. Anybody can demonize somebody else. They are devoid of empathy. Anybody can tear somebody down. It takes a strong person, a person of faith, to have empathy and lift people up. And those people that were protesting in that church were lifting up their fellow Americans, their fellow neighbors, people that they didn't know because they give a damn. And I don't even care if they were Christians or agnostics or if they worship the grasshopper. Those people were a hell of a lot more Christian than that pastor in that church that was rejoicing in the suffering of brown people being stripped away, because that pastor is nothing more than a white supremacist. Have a good day.